I don't know if you clapped or not. Matt, you just started laughing maniacally.
No, I clapped on my end.
Okay, hopefully we'll figure it out.
Yeah, it showed up on Audacity, so I think it's okay.
I wonder what's going to peak more, that clap or Matthew's laugh. Yeah, no, after my recent debacle with audio, I am just so paranoid. I'm going to be constantly looking over and making sure everything's recording.
Oh, I can imagine.
Like, genuinely, just since then, like, yep, Ableton's running. Yep, I have OBS now. PC is on flames.
Oh, I want to preemptively apologise in case you hear any traffic, ambulances, or police.
It's okay,
outside.
You're probably going to hear children and mine and dogs.
You may hear, my brother and his girlfriend are coming round. They may have brought their dog, I don't know. If they have, you'll hear dogs on my end too.
I mean, it's not a competition now. I will get on my chair.
Who can have more noise traffic in their background?
All right, open the windows, open everything.
I'm turning the gain up to 10.
Make sure that I got my TV on in the background and turn that up to 100.
I'm going to turn on high frequency.
Change to a channel that has static on it and just static.
Change it to songs of praise. Make sure they've got the choirs.
1 second, I have my violin somewhere. No,
Make sure I've got my fan running in the background.
I have my mechanical keyboard. I'm just going to make sure you can just hear it. I'm not going to touch it just in case it fucks up something. You win.
Put on the air conditioning.
I wish I had air conditioning.
Closest I've got to a big fat fan that works half the time. I wish I had heating. It's been freezing here recently.
My PC acts as a fan and a heater, all in one. Except it's mostly a heater. Which is why, I've had my window open all day because I knew.
Oh, preemptively, yeah.
So I have a question for you, Josh.
Go for it.
How was it doing?
Oh, can I tell you about that?
You did.
Yeah,
I want you to tell Matthew what happened.
Right, okay, so, I was looking at cinema trips, as I do, because I have no life and cinema gives me joy. And I saw that my cinema was showing Dune, and it had the new Dune poster, it had the new Dune runtime, it had the new Dune description, everything. And I was like, oh, they're showing it, 2 months early. Oh, I've got to get in on this. And I'd seen other people post about seeing Dune, so I was like, oh, okay, so it must just be like an early screening. So I book it. I go out my days. I go to the mall where the cinema is. I go and get a suit for an upcoming event, and then I go to the cinema, and I'm thinking, it's weird that they're showing Dune 2 months early. And then I decide to check again, and the website has since updated its look, and it's now showing the 1984 Dune, and it just decided not to tell me. So I'd accidentally booked to see the boring Dune.
What?
I'd never been so disappointed and frustrated at the same time.
I'm disappointed because I thought you actually did go. I was like, what? You got to see it? And then now you just told me it was a lie.
No,
yeah.
I went. My usual cinema trip is to go get chicken and then go see the cinema. I just got the chicken and left. I wasn't gonna watch it.
When you told me that, I felt the heartbreak over the text. Did you at least see it in the end?
No, I was going to, and I was like, it's 2.5 hours. It's like 7 o'clock now, and we get out at about 10. I really can't be arsed for this. And I just left.
That is one of the funniest stories I've heard about cinema in a long time. Yeah. I have a story about cinema that happened to me recently.
Oh.
So it was my friend's birthday recently, and they wanted to see a movie, which name I still can't remember. And they wanted to... Karen Gillan was in it, if anyone can remember the movie.
Gunpowder Milkshake.
That was probably it. But anyway, so my friends, they wanted to sit at the very back, and that was fine. So I was sitting right at the stairs, so I had all the leg room. The movie was boring for the most part, and just when it was picking up, I was like, oh yes. In the lower right of my peripheral, I see a couple eating each other's faces. I'm like, ew. I look back on the screen, I look down 2 seconds later, and her head is going up and down.
Ah, a classic.
And not only that, they were going...
He was having a seizure.
Maybe, and he had to get his hand down there and just give her CPR.
Maybe you just witnessed the start of a zombie apocalypse.
But
oh yeah, he was actually eating the face off.
Yeah, they weren't making out. They were eating each other's face, and then she had to go into the stomach.
So the sound mixing in the movie was off, but I was hyper fixated on all the noise. And there eventually came a point where, like, you know, she sat back and she was gripping the seats, and I just started looking up at the roof. There was nothing else I could do. All I could do was just look up. And then after the movie, my friends asked me, like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Mm-hmm." I was like, you know, during the cool parts of the movie, we looked at you and you were just looking up at the roof. I was like, "I'll tell you when we're far enough away." And I told them what happened, and they were like, "I'm so sorry." It's like, yeah, I feel like such a pervert. I paid for a fucking peep show. I was like, was the movie good? Did it actually get better? Because I wasn't fucking watching it.
I empathise with that, and it's not the same situation at all. It's much more serious, I suppose. But I was helping out at this night marathon in London this weekend just gone, and it was great. It was lovely. There's a lot of lovely people there, and towards the end there's this one couple who, bless him, something happened to the girl. I couldn't tell you what, but she had to sit on the bench, and
she was infected.
Yeah, well, we wrapped her in tinfoil and like had the medic look at her, and they just kind of sat there. And I was thinking, okay, I'm not qualified to do anything, so I kept offering them chocolate and then just backing off. And my station was right opposite them, so I felt awful. And I think about 7, I was like, okay, no one else is coming through my pit stop. The marathon seems to be over for the most part, so I talked to the person who was running, and I was like, "Hey, I'm just gonna head home if that's okay." And they're like, "Yeah, that's fine. Thanks for your help." I was right by Buckingham Palace, and I don't really get to that part of London that much.
God
so
bless the Queen.
Yeah, God bless the Queen. So I went and took a few pictures with Lizzie, and then I took a few pictures, walked to the nearest station, which was Victoria. And as I'm walking through Victoria, I see the same couple sitting down, and I just thought, I can't escape them. And then I couldn't hide from them because I'm in a bright yellow t-shirt and a bright yellow hat. So I was just trying to duck behind everything I could do to avoid them, so that they didn't think I was stalking them, and so I wouldn't have to talk to them about what was ever wrong with this poor girl.
It turns out they were your neighbours 2 doors down this entire time, and they called the police on you.
Oh, God, I hate it.
Now, I didn't mention the best part of this story. 2 rows down across from them was a father and son watching the movie as well.
Oh.
And they were the first ones to leave. And the worst part is, this was just not a fun evening. You know, my friend goes to me, "Hey, that guy kind of looks like Bo Burnham." So that's all I had in my head as well.
Bo Burnham just getting his...
He's going to write a song about it.
Head
Also,
in the cinema.
We've all seen Stardust, haven't we? You know, Ben Barnes, Charlie Cox. Do you also know that Henry Cavill was in it?
Yes, he has blonde hair,
and
a blonde mustache. Yeah,
I only found out recently.
No, I found out a few years ago, and now I send it every now and again whenever the rumours come up of like, oh, new person is Superman, and it's like, oh, who should play Superman? I always say
I can see the gears in Matthew's head turning. He's still trying to figure it out.
I didn't know that. I gotta watch Stardust again because I don't know. I can't remember Stardust whatsoever.
How much do you remember about Stardust?
Wasn't Robert De Niro in it?
I remember.
Yes.
Robert De Niro Stardust? Am I remembering? I'm remembering a princess film. Is this correct?
Yeah, it's technically a princess film. And Robert De Niro plays a cross-dressing pirate named Shakespeare.
I don't remember this film. I mean, I do. I remember seeing it.
He pilots a flying pirate ship, and then he goes and stops and talks to Ricky Gervais about like getting some.
Ricky Gervais was in it?
Oh, you guys don't know Stardust.
I'm starstruck.
Mark Strong was in it as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, Mark Strong's in it. He's got long hair. He kind of looks like he's doing his best ever Snape cosplay.
This is insane.
Stardust is a movie. If you ever go on, do you guys have Pointless?
No. Do we?
Okay,
Pointless,
if you ever go on like a yeah, the TV show where you have to guess answers that no one would ever know.
Yeah.
If you ever go on Pointless, Stardust will save your life in a like unknown Robert De Niro role thing, because there are so many actors in that you would never take a second guess at. Like I say, Henry Cavill plays Charlie Cox's like I guess enemy or rival for the girl that he wants.
Ben Barnes plays his young dad, doesn't he?
Yeah, Ben Barnes plays his young dad, and then some random dude plays his old one. Michelle
I just wanted to
Pfeiffer's in it.
fanboy about Henry Cavill. I wasn't expecting a spiderweb of conspiracies here.
Oh yeah, Ian McKellen's the narrator.
Oh, I didn't.
I do remember that, I think. But
Jason Flemings is in it.
I
This is the most British movie I've heard in a while.
I mean, I really do have to rewatch this film for the fact that
That can be our first commentary.
All I remember is that like a blonde girl and a guy who had a sword went out and met each other and they fell in love or something.
Yeah, I mean that's like the Cliff Notes. You're not wrong.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So-
it's like a guy loves a girl, and then there's a shooting star that comes out, and she goes, "Okay, if you want to marry me, then go get that shooting star and bring it back. Otherwise, I'm going to marry Henry Cavill like any sane person would." And then, so he has to go and cross the wall. I think it's just called the wall, and there's a guy guarding it, and he's like, "You shouldn't cross the wall because there's some weird stuff back there." And it's like this whole fancy magical land, and it turns out that the shooting star ends up being like a pretty girl who he sees, and he still tries to bring back to this other girl, which is
Hey, at least he's loyal.
well, yeah. It's also technically human trafficking, but
How do we get this girl across this border?
Doesn't he have like the chain bracelet as well? That like links.
does he? Yeah,
There's
wait.
so many
No, he does.
implications.
And then there's a whole separate subplot about the king of this land dying and his 7 sons overtaking him. So they just all
I remember
try
the sons
and
killing each other.
Yeah, they all try and kill each other. And there's one where it's a great subplot. David Williams plays one of the sons, and there's a great like moment where the king says to my son Quintus or whatever, "Look upon your land that you're going to inherit." And so he goes over to the window to look out, and then Mark Strong just pushes him off a balcony.
I mean, Stardust can be the first commentary track we do.
I would recommend it.
I really want to watch this film again. I thought, because I never rewatched it before, the only fact that I thought, this is a shit like film that's just like one of those princess films. I mean, I heard many good things about it, but now I really want, because 1, I forgot the cast, 2, I forgot most of this plot, and 3, I didn't think of a third one, so I'm just gonna I want to watch
3.
Did Kojima make this plot up? It sounds like one of his plots.
It's the Neil Gaiman plot.
Speaking of, do you know that Josh met Kojima?
Oh, what? You met Kojima?
I do. I have a photo of it. I'll show you afterwards. I'd get it now, but I'd have to get up, and
He also met Stan Lee as well.
Yeah, I've met Kojima and Stan Lee. I didn't get a picture of Stan Lee, but I did get a picture with Kojima.
Whoa, at the same time? Stan Lee took the picture of you and Kojima.
Who's the most famous person I met? I don't. Is there any local? There's Hobo Martin.
That's right.
Yeah, this guy. He's a homeless person that lives on the main street of our town, and he's just. I don't know how he's still alive. There was one night he was lighting a fire, and he caught himself on fire, and he walked into the Witherspoons, just head on fire, shoulders on fire, and just acted so casually about it.
Maybe he's like the guy from Death Stranding. He just walks places and just lives.
Oh yeah.
But what was Kojima like? I mean, obviously he might have been. Like,
Well, so I met up with my mate in London. We went to Camden, and we were going to meet him because we heard about him being here for this. Like, he was promoting Death Stranding at the time, and so we were like, okay, we'll go there. And there was a little poster, and we were like, I guess we have to wait here. And some guy came over to us and was like, oh, no, the line's over here. And we walked out, and it stretched about 3/4 of a mile long.
what?
And so we waited 7 hours through rain and wind, and we were like, this really is the Death Stranding experience. But it was lovely because so he was only meant to be there from 11 to 1, I think it is, but because so many people wanted to be there, he ended up waiting until I think 7 at night. Even though he had to go to the BAFTAs that evening. So he was
He
lovely.
probably didn't want to go to the BAFTAs. He just wanted to stay there.
I don't think he did. I mean, he was lovely. You kind of only get to meet him for 30 seconds at a time. But like you walk in, you say hi, you can say a few words, and you take a picture, and then they're like, "All right, get out." We have 50,000 people. But yeah, no, he was lovely. He didn't speak too much English, so it's kind of you kind of felt like your words were lost on him. But no, he was really nice. The art director for his games was there too. He was lively. All in all, it's a great guy. I need to get the picture frames because otherwise I'm going to lose it at some point.
The amount of random people that appear in Forbidden Planet Dublin. I know Elijah Wood was there before, and they got the voice actor who played Peter Parker for the Spider-Man Insomniac games was there doing a signing. Grant Morrison was there for a while. I haven't seen any of them.
I've the most famous person I think I've met. There's like, I've met the guy who voiced Vegeta from Dragon Ball.
I mean, it's big enough.
Yeah, and who else? Oh yeah, the guy who played he played the main character in Full Metal Alchemist, but later, I think a good few years later, once I got that autograph, it got cancelled. So
the value of it skyrocketed is what you're trying to. Oh, I do know one famous person I met. I met Oni NG.
Yes, you have
Oh,
a picture
yes.
of your friend.
Yeah, I took a picture of my cousin with him. He did a panel at this Dublin convention, and it was really funny. It was recorded, but they never released it. So I'm like, what was said? I can't remember. But I did have an autograph that was lost to time on the back of a 4-star pizza menu, Matthew. So, Josh, considering like this episode is going to come out on the first week of October, do you have any paranormal stories?
I don't have any paranormal stories.
Well, never mind then.
Right, nice meeting you guys. I'll see you some other time. No, the house that I lived in for uni, we used to talk about, and we kind of joked that it was haunted, but we also think it might have actually been haunted. Because, so yeah, I went to university in Norwich. I lived in Norwich, and most houses there were kind of occupied by people during and after World War II, because Norwich got mistaken for London a lot, so it was hit by bombs a lot.
Genius tactics.
It kind of was. We used to light it up more, and then they think that because it had such a similar sort of density to London, they used to think it was because the Germans didn't know English geography.
Yeah, I mean, I think I know like a small bit of like London, like bombings for the fact that we got bombed because they flew too far and they thought we were London, and I know that because apparently one of my dad's like aunties was like, her house got hit by one and she was like away at the time, so she's fine.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Be a very different story otherwise.
Yeah, she just came home and she just saw her house not there. That's just a funny story from the bombings, I guess.
Funny
Funny story. Sorry.
Here's some other funny World War II stories.
Here's some funny war crimes that my parents committed.
Yeah, sorry. Continue with the haunted.
I mean, it was just weird. We'd hear a lot of random sort of bangs in the night, and there was a few times where we'd hear someone coming down the stairs, which had a very distinctive like creak to them. But then no one would be there. It could have been my flatmate going out to get weed, or it could have been a ghost. It's tough to tell.
Snitches get stitches, Josh. Remember that.
Oh God, don't you? I love the people I live with. One of them I like a lot more than the other. One of them.
Guns, who's aiming at who?
One of them. So he smoked weed because it was university, and a lot of people did.
So cool.
I know, it's so cool. But he, more than once, he texted his dealer and tried to get the dealer to come to our house. And I'm just like, no, I don't want a dealer coming to my house and knowing where I live. I don't care if he's your mate. I don't trust that.
Yeah.
So every time I told him to just cycle a few roads down so he wouldn't know, because he was the laziest person ever. But no, I mean, I watch a lot of horror. But I've never experienced a lot of paranormal stuff. Have either of you guys?
I need to think about that now. God, he flipped out the Uno reverse card.
I mean, I know I haven't. like not once. I mean, the only thing I would say is like anything that's weird. I guess it's recent because in the place I work at the moment,
He works at an American tourist trap for, you know, just...
but
My heart goes out to you.
the building itself has like it's
a Georgian building.
All buildings are like super old in the city. Like
They're all like 4-story tall Georgian houses.
yeah. So the further like you go up into this building, the more its age starts to show, and it's like there's literally a room called the hangar room. And it's 4 hangars, right, for like putting up like clothes, but it has the scariest name, and it's the scariest part in the building because you have to close a door behind you, and once you do, it's pitch black. You can't see shit because it's like there's no lights in the place apart from like a one green glowing light, and it's horrifying. The steps have never been like refurbished, so it's all still old creaky steps, and it's like, what the hell is this place? And I swear to God, I almost shit my pants because this was the first time I was like
allowed in the room by yourself.
No,
why are you locking the door, guys?
Yeah, this was the first time I was in this room, and I turned the corner and I saw a mannequin, and I shat my pants. I was like, oh my fuck, what's that? And then it was like, and then yeah, what you call it? The last 2 days, I've also been working in like a different shop that's owned by the same like person.
They're all over the place.
Yeah, they have. It used to be a bank, so the storage room is downstairs, but the storage room is connected to every building because it's an underground system. So the further you go into it, you might actually like go into somebody else's store, and it's kind of creepy because I didn't know that the first time I went downstairs. So when I heard banging like far away, I was like, I think I got what I needed. I'm going upstairs.
The hangar room becomes a hang room.
Yeah.
With me, I haven't had any paranormal experiences, but you can both agree with me after I tell this tale of the scariest thing that's ever happened to me that is just beyond paranormal. So, Matthew, you know what pharmaphobia is.
Yes.
It's pretty much in the middle of a country on this big farm. It's a big scare thing. It's not that scary, it's just people running at you. And there's 4 attractions. 1, I was with my ex-girlfriend, so that was scary enough. 2, I was with someone I strongly didn't like who was forced to go. And 3, I just wasn't in a good mood that day. So we were going through all the attractions one by one, people trying to scare me. Like, you know, there was a circus one, there was the corn maze one, there was a slaughterhouse one. Nothing scared me, and I was just stone-faced. I walked by this cage, and all I hear is, honk! A fucking geese screamed at me, and I jumped.
That is the most paranormal activity thing I've ever heard. Ever.
No, like, genuinely. Since that day, I've just hated geese. I never had anything against them beforehand, but just that noise, it wasn't of this earth.
Okay.
I mean,
also, here's another scary story. Why is Chris Pratt Mario?
See, okay, I know I'm going to be in the minority for this, but I've seen a lot of people
Get
like,
the gun.
really, really like. I don't know if I'd say hate it, but they're confused at it as to why Chris Pratt is Mario and not the original voice actor who's going to be in the movie for like some roles.
Yeah.
And like I can to a degree understand that, but also, to my knowledge, Mario basically just says, "It's a me, Mario." Like,
Yeah.
See,
you know, Mario.
I'm gonna argue this point because there's only been like one fully fledged Mario-verse voice acting game, and that was a WarioWare game, WarioWare Gold, where, you know, Charles Martinet, he voices Wario, but he's having so much fun with it because he's actually able to say lines. And hearing Wario talk, I'm like, I want to hear everyone else talk, and that's why I'm like, but why is Charles Martinet at the bottom of that cast list? Everyone else, I'm completely fine with. Like, I would have loved Charlie Day as Toad. I feel like
Rogen as Donkey Kong though.
Mario. But like, Charlie Day as Luigi it's just fantastic casting.
that
I
is
don't know,
good
just the
cast.
one
I,
that
uh,
sticks out to me is just Chris Pratt.
I've seen a lot of great memes about like clips from Always Sunny, but turned into Luigi.
I seen a source filmmaker where it's the Pepe Sylvia scene.
do you
Luigi.
do you guys watch Always Sunny?
Oh, I adore the
Yeah,
show so much.
You know when him and Mac are beating up kids.
Yeah.
Wait,
Goombas.
let me see. I'll try and send this to you because it's one of my favorite videos of all time.
It's amazing how quickly the internet just jumps on these things.
Yeah, I've just sent it to you over Instagram, but
We should
It's-
have a look after.
it's one of my favorite things, and I love that kind of stuff. I guess I find it makes sense because a movie's not the same as a game, you know.
Yeah.
A movie.
Are minions
has
gonna show up?
Well, unless you're playing the David Cage game, and then movies are the same as games. Deep cut
Yeah.
right there.
So Josh, don't Matthew, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I am gonna be confused on how Chris Pratt sounds as Mario. Like, will he go for like?
It's a Mario.
Yeah, will he
What
go
the
for
fuck
that,
are you
or,
looking
or
at?
will he go for something like different? Will he just be like an American? Go, hey, yeah, I'm here to fix the pipes.
Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? I'm driving. Really stereotypical.
I would love for them to make the
He actually speaks
1990.
Italian.
I'd love for the 1998 one to be canon, and he's just doing his best Brooklyn accent. He's like, "Hey, it's me,
Yeah.
Mario."
I love that. It's like a dragon. I don't know, a dragon.
You remember the Mario animated show that had like the live action parts, and it had like the fucking Ron Jeremy looking Mario.
Wait,
So,
from the TV show.
Yeah.
Ron Perlman as Mario is a great one.
Hey, Luigi,
Hey, there's a pizza man.
you better go pay him.
Oh,
So here's a hard question: what's your favorite horror film? What's your favorite scary movie?
Scary movie.
I don't know if you can ever answer that because I mean it's such a broad genre that I don't think you can ever narrow it down
Okay,
to
do
like.
you like body horror, slasher, paranormal, found footage, torture porn? The list goes on.
The Serbian film is my favorite movie of all time.
The movie that
My
took
favorite scene is with the kid. That's a good one.
It's fun for the whole family. But no, I don't know. I like gore a lot. My family always treat it weird because I usually watch horror movies in my spare time. My mum will come in or something. And she just looks really confused at the screen because it's like I'll be watching Friday the 13th and someone just got their head chopped off. But yeah, I guess I like gore a lot. I don't know if I'd say I like torture porn. I like there to be some kind of backing to it.
Yeah.
That said, I love the cabin fever movies, all of them. I will not elaborate.
What about me? I don't know. You see, like, I have such a fondness for like the classic slasher films, like you said there, Friday the 13th, just because of how campy
I've
they
actually
are.
I've got Friday the 13th on the background now.
Oh wow.
Which one?
The reboot.
I mean, I enjoyed the reboot. My one complaint about the reboot is, fellas, you're gonna look at me weird. It has too much nudity in it. It's very distracting. It feels a bit gratuitous.
How
I
am I meant
can-
to watch Friday the 13th with my. I was. Should I finish this joke? I was going to say with my hand down my pants.
But like, the thing I love about that film is that they made Jason actually really scary in it.
Well, yeah,
Because-
I'm a big fan of the reboot just because it dropped like the thing that I hate from a movie, like not just horror movies but movies in general, is whenever a movie takes itself far more seriously than it is. I mean that's kind of my problem with a lot of like the Snyder movies. Even though I love Dawn of the Dead, I like 300. You know, most of his DC movies, the issue I have is that they take themselves so seriously. I'm like, dude, it's a comic book, you know, just have fun with it. And that's kind of what Friday the 13th does. Is it just, I don't think any of the Friday the 13th are made as like serious movies. You know, especially not in the same way that Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one was made as a genuine horror movie. Halloween,
Then
the
the
first
second
one was
one-
made.
The second Nightmare on Elm Street film is just a gem. Did you ever hear about the story?
The second Nightmare on Elm Street film is definitely something.
That's another one I'm gonna have to get you to watch. The second Nightmare on Elm Street film. I'm not gonna give you any context.
Oh, Matthew,
Just
you've not
trust
seen
me.
it?
No, am I correct in that one being? No, wait, is that the one I'm thinking of?
Spit it out.
Is that the one where like? No, I don't know what I'm thinking. It's like, no, I think I'm actually thinking of Halloween, where they're like, it's a television thing, something. Something about television.
Are you thinking of Scream?
Halloween Resurrections. The
Halloween
one with Busta Rhymes, karate kicks
Oh,
Michael.
yes, yeah.
No, like that can be our second commentary then. Nightmare on Elm Street 2. But
Well, am I going to get no context whatsoever?
No.
for that?
Hey, it's best.
Okay.
Go into it
Better.
blind.
it's the best comedy you're ever going to see.
Epic.
It really is.
But yeah, as I was saying, like with the Friday the 13th, the thing I love about Jason in this one is he doesn't teleport. He sprints at you, and I love how he's all these like tunnels underneath all trap wires, and he gets angry.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
just
he
visceral.
feels like a hunter, more so than
Yeah.
like the other ones.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite Friday the 13th is Jason. Freddy versus Jason.
That is my ultimate guilty pleasure film.
Yes.
Like, I remember one time I got Nadine to watch it, and she didn't like it, and I felt kind of insulted. But I like, you know, a movie's gonna be great when the director says, "I haven't watched any of the Nightmare on Elm Streets or Freddy, like, or damn Friday the 13th." So
I
you
mean,
know,
in fairness, did he not actually? Did he say he didn't watch them? In fairness, he kind of captured a lot of their goofiness, and like has like a lot of cooler moments in it where like how they make Jason fight Freddy. They have to give him like a fuck ton of sleeping
of
like,
ketamine.
ketamine. It's really
Like-
interesting.
But one thing I hate about the film though is like, why is Jason such a bitch about water all of a sudden? He's like 10 kills in the original movies where he's in water.
Yeah,
He has to be afraid of something. Freddy's afraid of fire.
that's. I mean, isn't that the first thing Jason first appears in water. Like he comes out of it.
He jumps out and he drags is it the survivor or his mum to her death?
The one who chopped off Mommy's head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was victim number 1 in part 2.
Well, I mean, Friday the 13th is probably one of the most interesting series I've seen. Because, like I said, you know, Halloween and Scream and Nightmare on Elm Street and all these other slashers, they had this kind of pretense of being horror. Like, and then I think even by the second movie, the first movie was made to cash in on slasher movies and
Yeah, the Who Did It.
yeah, it was made to cash in on Halloween specifically. The guys who made it just said like, yeah, we saw Halloween was really popular. We're like, oh, we can just make that. And then even by the second one, they just dropped all pretense of that, and they're like, oh, people want to see, you know, these guys that they don't like getting killed, so let's just do that. Let's just have this big hulking monster.
But then they have the problem by the end. It's like, God damn it, guys, we killed the killer again.
Well, no, that's when you bring back the weird worm thing. That's from Jason.
That's the only one I haven't seen.
And you don't need to see it.
Jason Goes to Hell. I know.
You
I know
really
that
don't.
Necronomicon makes an appearance in it, but like,
Jason Goes to Hell is just so, in comparison to the other ones.
Technically, it's the only movie he actually talks in, but it's not in his body. But I do love the opening in that film where he's hunting someone in Crystal Lake, and it turns out it's a SWAT team, and they blow him up.
That's kind of cool. I mean, I think I'm going to change the topic to one of my favorite horror series is Evil Dead. That's what I was going to say. Evil Dead.
Yes.
I love
Evil
Evil
Dead.
Dead.
Evil Dead 2 used to petrify me as a kid.
Me and Don watched Army of Darkness. It was months ago now.
It's a classic as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we did a commentary
This
track
is
on
my
Army of Darkness,
boomstick.
and it's so good.
Yeah. I mean, I love Evil Dead. Even the remake or whatever, I still love that.
Controversial take. I don't like it.
Okay,
I don't like it.
I love
like it.
I love the reboot. The reboot's
Yeah.
above the original for me.
Oh, really? I mean, yeah, I would say the same because it amps a lot of stuff. And I don't care what anybody says. The after credit scene of him just saying "groovy" is still I loved it.
It's canon.
Like, yeah, I don't. I don't know if he time traveled and just changed the course of history or whatever. But
Did you
it's
did you
still
ever
cool.
hear the idea behind that? Well, not specifically like that credit, because the credit seems always meant to be just kind of like a seal of approval, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But you know Ash versus the Evil Dead.
I still have to watch it, but
Is
yes.
that's the TV show, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Bruce Campbell.
I've been watching it. It got cancelled after 3 seasons, but the 4th season was going to have him meet the guys from the reboot and then intersect for a little bit.
Oh, that's kind of sick.
It would have been great. You know, obviously it's not going to happen anymore.
Netflix made their continuation, didn't they? Or
This merges into something beautifully.
I
Do you
think-
guys know about this sequel idea that was supposed to be Freddy versus Jason versus Ash?
I did. I remember hearing about that.
And
That
you
would be
know,
great.
but the problem was the reason why it was never made originally because the studios were like, no, Freddy's gonna win, no, Jason's gonna win. It obviously was gonna be Ash, so they turned it into a comic instead. Pretty much, the premise of the comic is that Freddy is just tormenting Jason because like Freddy is he's killed. He's like, Jason, I'm just gonna torment the fuck out of you until you find a way to bring me back. You know what?
Yeah.
Get me the Necronomicon. And Ash is just in Kmart doing his thing, and they kind of just interact with each other, and it just gets a bit batshit.
I was hoping that the movies would just turn into like utter insanity, like
I mean,
Jason
Freddy
versus-
acts as like a father figure to Jason.
Jason versus Freddy versus Ash versus the
Michael
Predator
versus the
versus
Leatherface.
the Alien versus the
Versus the Predator versus the Terminator.
yeah, versus the Terminator.
I remember there was
versus-
a comic of Jason versus Leatherface, and I think they just kind of became bros by the end of it.
I know
Leatherface.
Mortal Kombat had like at least 6 of those.
That reminds me, Netflix bought the global rights to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise, so they own Texas Chainsaw now.
Well, there's
Are
a
they doing
new
anything?
Texas Chainsaw coming out. I think it's meant to come out this year. Now it's I haven't heard anything
Now
about
Netflix
it.
own it.
Yeah, I mean I haven't
That's
heard
a
anything
big
about
thing
it.
though. Like now Netflix owns like one of the iconic horror slashers. Mind you, I'm not a big fan of the original Texas Chainsaw. I just don't think it's that interesting.
I think it.
I think I like the first Texas Chainsaw more than any of the others.
Yeah,
What about the O3 remake? Because I did enjoy that one.
I didn't mind that one. I think it did. I think it did good. It has a lot of really interesting. That shot where the guy. I guess spoilers. If you're ever gonna watch it, but that shot where the guy shoots himself through the mouth and like the camera tracks
yeah.
through the hole is pretty cool.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
And the whole sort of like the family aspect of all of them being part of the town is quite neat.
It really is a piece of its time, the early 2000s.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think all I remember watching the you know that YouTube channel How It Should Have Ended?
Yeah.
I remember watching like, and I thought it was stupid when I first saw this How It Should Have Ended, but the girl's like, "Wait, why am I running?" Turns around, kicks him in the nuts. I'm just like, that's not gonna work. Like, if
it-
you've seen any slasher villains, any of them, that's not going to work on any occasion.
It's Leatherface. I mean, the dude's scarred beyond belief.
He probably doesn't have nuts. His father probably cut him off.
Yeah, they needed dinner one time.
Yeah.
There's one movie I want to rewatch because I just can't remember it at all, and it's one you brought up, Matthew. Scary Movie.
Scary movie. Yeah, the
A
classic. Oh man, dude, that scared the shit out of me when I was never.
I don't know, that one's such a fever dream as well. Because
I'm actually gonna go see Scream in cinemas later.
25th anniversary, yeah, it's coming soon.
Yeah, I think it's
12th
in.
of October, isn't it?
Yeah, I think 12th or 21st, one of the two. But yeah, I'm gonna try and go see that because it's showing at my cinema. I need to put tickets to it.
Apparently there's going to be a trailer for the new one, which I kind of forgot was a thing.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
See, the thing that has me upset about that new Scream movie, it's like Wes Craven's last movie was Scream 4,
Yeah.
and now they're making one without him. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think Scream worked after the first one. Like, it doesn't really make sense to continue Scream. I mean, I think the only one that I kind of liked the concept of Scream after that was it the fourth one where they like break every wall imaginable, where they're just like, okay, that's a wrap, guys, at the end of the movie, and it's just like, oh, it's all being filmed, whatever.
Are you thinking of Wes Craven's New Nightmare?
No, I mean, no, sorry, that's not the ending. That's the beginning of the film where it wraps up, but then another slash. Is that one of Scream's?
Scream 4
that sounds
opens
more
with all
like-
the different stabs.
That sounds more
five.
like New Nightmare, where
Yeah.
they're making a movie about the movie, But then
Trust
Freddy,
me, that movie is a head fuck.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe I'm.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm
because
misremembering
Wes
that
Craven's New Nightmare,
completely.
Heather Lightning Camp plays herself. Robert Englund plays himself. Fucking Wes Craven plays himself in the movie.
Okay.
yeah,
Trust
and
me, that one
it's
was-
all like it's like they're making a movie about Nightmare on Elm Street, but Freddy then transcends the Nightmare on Elm Street and it becomes
It's actually
part
really
of.
good. It's really fucking good.
It's really interesting. I mean,
That was like the first movie I watched that like kind of messed with my head because I was a bit of a depraved child and I had like all the Friday the 13th and all the Nightmare on Elm Streets by the time I was 11.
Yeah.
And I remember I got the box set of Nightmare on Elm Street and I think I was doing like, ooh, a movie a night. And I was just underwhelmed. I don't know, like my 11-year-old self was expecting so much more because you hear like, you know, your parents talk about, oh, the movies were so scary, and they're like, what is this? So like Freddy's dead. Yeah, I was like, oh my god, please, I'm almost over. Then New Nightmare. I'm like, I don't know what's happening. It's hurting my head.
I mean, I would love to experience movies as like how my parents would have, like without any knowledge of what is to
Yeah,
come
that's
in horror.
CGI.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of interesting where like people say this is such a classic, and you go back and like not only are the special effects, or sorry, what's like the
Practical
effects are like kind of not great. It still kind of baffles me.
Then to counterpoint the thing.
Well, the thing's different. That's like I literally think that's on a league of its own.
yeah. Well, the thing is kind of a lightning in a bottle situation.
I mean, I guess the next good thing about practical effects was Jurassic Park.
I just
which
can't
was the
believe.
last one.
I just can't believe, you know, the thing copied Among Us.
What do you guys think about John Carpenter? Like in terms of his work? 'Cause
His scores.
do you mean the scores that he writes for himself?
Yeah. Like I remember after. Oh, here's another cinema horror story. So like, you know, my girlfriend Nadine, she just started college halfway across the country, and this is when Halloween 2018 was coming out. I was like, okay, let's go see a movie, and it was booked up, and we go sit in 2 seats, and there's 2 seats left beside us, and of course 2 drunken junkies come in and decide to sit beside us because they were the only seats left in the house, and holy shit, they were on their phones the entire movie, full brightness, shouting at the screen, quote unquote whispering to each other, and not watching the movie. Then when the movie ended, they just go, it's shite.
Yeah,
I'm so angry.
The best thing about COVID is that it means that most cinemas I've gone to are just completely empty.
I love that.
See, what happens in our cinemas is, if you book seats, then like the 2 seats behind you, beside you, and in front of you are automatically blacked out, so no one can book them. So you literally have your own bubble in the cinema.
Yeah, that's what ours do too. It's for social distancing, but it's so nice because it means that you don't have to sit next to anyone.
And then
Yeah.
the next time I saw Halloween with a friend, it was coming up to the 3rd act where Michael's at Laurie's house, and there was 3 teenage girls like 2 rows back just giggling, and I just hit a boiling point, and I turned around and just screamed, "Shut up!" as loud as I could, and they stopped.
Nice.
Yeah, I can turn into a grouchy old man when it comes to movies.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so happy with the one positive of COVID, which is the empty.
My case.
I got to watch like all of Malignant, like
Yes,
with
my man.
nobody there.
I still
with-
haven't seen it, guys. I know you
Yeah.
recommended it to me, Josh, and I know you recommended it to me, Matthew.
It's like I watched it with an empty theater, and I was so happy. I was like,
Same.
This
I watched it with I think 2 other people in my cinema.
I went alone because I'm the only person who's like not working on a Monday and
Same. No, I went alone just because I didn't know anyone who'd want to go see that, and I don't know. I've been going to the cinema a lot myself because it's kind of I've realised that you don't ever really like when you're going to the cinema, you don't really talk to people because you're focused on the movie, and then
yeah.
it's kind
If
of
you're me, on the other hand, you're focusing on not focusing on the people.
you're focusing on the people who aren't focusing on the movie. But yeah, like I guess I've just kind of realised like whenever I go to the cinema with people, and I still do. I'm going to see James Bond on Saturday with my mate, and it's like you don't ever... Going on your own is just kind of nice, because it means that you don't have to try and plan around someone, you don't have to try and
You have
plan
to worry
with
about
someone.
if they're talking,
Yeah.
if they're going to be on their phone, if they're going to ask you
Right.
questions.
You don't have to
That-
worry about, oh, is it too early for us to go? Are they going to get annoyed if we sit there for too long?
See, I'm the worst one. I have to be at the movies like 10 minutes early, even before like the ads start playing.
Oh.
Well, I mean, yeah, you've got to watch
Gotta
all
warm
the
up the
ads.
seats. Gotta eat all your food.
I gotta watch the Spider-Man trailer for the 11th time in a row when sitting in
Oh, like,
when sitting in a theater.
but one of the best cinema experiences I had was with Matthew when we went to see Infinity War.
Oh yeah.
Like, I remember at the start, like, after Thanos snapped Loki's neck, and it was just like, who's coming? Matthew grabbed my hand and went, oh my god, it's happening.
He's coming. I think we're in the wrong movie theater.
And then I
This is one of those
Endgame.
adult movie theaters I heard about.
Yeah.
And then when I went to see Endgame with Nadine, the first thing she told me was, I haven't watched all these movies.
Does that matter?
And then like before the movie started, I said, you're not allowed to say a single word throughout this entire movie. You're not allowed to ask me any questions because I haven't seen the movie. And that reminds me of another. This was the biggest betrayal I've ever had in my life. David, Erica, if you're listening, I'm calling yous out. So we were going on a double date. It was planned for 2 months. We had the tickets booked in advance, and we went to like the big screening in Santry.
Yeah.
And the queue to get in, I accidentally started the queue, but I made sure to be at the front so I could get the seats I want.
Yeah.
And as soon as, like, you see Clint on his farm, David gets up to go to the toilet. I'm like, hang on a second, the movie just started. And so the movie goes on, it's emotional. After the film, they're both looking at us very guiltily, and they go, guys, we have something to tell you. And I'm like, what? It's like, we saw the movie at midnight. And I was just... I felt betrayed, I'm not gonna lie.
That's when they spoiled everything. They were like,
Oh, that reminds me actually, when we were in that line, two guys from the screening before us came out and said, I can't believe Iron Man died right beside Nadine.
Oh,
And here's another horror story. Captain America wielding Mjolnir was spoiled on me 2 months before the movie came out.
yeah.
'Cause
yeah.
I was just on Instagram one day and there he was holding the hammer.
That got spoiled for me. Hulk Gauntlet got spoiled for me, and someone else. But I mean, I kind of feel bad about your mates, but I also kind of did the same thing. Because
I was like, don't piss me off, I'll tell you something about this movie.
I booked to go see Endgame with this girl that I was going to try and date. And she was like, oh, I'm busy from then to then. Do you mind if we go see it then? I was like, yeah, sure. And in my mind, I went, yeah, I'm not doing that. I'm not risking waiting 4 days to watch this movie. So I went to go see it
Instagram
on
was
opening.
popping back then.
I went to go see it on opening night, and I just pretended the whole time. And then after that, I don't think I ever spoke to him again.
The secret shame.
Oh man.
So, would you guys be the ones searching for spoilers? Like, looking at Spider-Man now, there's a new spoiler
No.
every day.
Oh yeah.
God, no. I mean, like, I think the Marvel Studios as a whole have become, after like Endgame, I presume they just gave up. Like, they're like, hey, if you spoil it, we're not going to fire you, or like, if you release information about it, I don't care. Like, I don't care at this point.
We're gonna make the money anyway.
yeah. And at this point, I think so many spoilers come out that not a lot of them even reach news anymore. So it's like, who cares? Like, I mean, I don't look for it, and even when a Marvel movie does come out, or if it gets spoiled for me, I don't care, because most of those movies are kind of shit now anyways. I watched Shang-Chi, and that's an okay film. I mean, I say an okay, that's a really good film. I quite like the action scenes in that.
I like until the third act.
Yeah, the third act sucks. Dick. I really don't like that third act. It looks gross, big CGI shit. And
It's
whatever.
great. Wait, Keen, have you seen Shang-Chi yet?
I don't think I will, so I'll just go nuts.
Okay, so the third act has this really great like emotional core between the dad and the son, who have like this big battle that's really well choreographed, and both actors are doing great with it, and you feel the emotion and everything. And they have like, it comes to a standoff, and it's really well done. And then 30 seconds later, you get 15-minute battle between 2 giant CGI dragons, and I'm just like, yeah, now that fight scene you had 10 minutes ago, It feels a bit tainted.
It's so out of it's really fucking annoying. I remember watching this and I was like, oh man, that father son moment was great. And I think I clocked out after that point in the movie. I was like, that father son point in the movie was like so good. I think I'm finished. But like the dragon came out, or like the weird squid, whatever that monster design, whatever that was, Cthulhu. It just came out, and then like a dragon fight ensued, and then soul sucking happened, and I'm like, you know what?
Is this Mortal Kombat?
He's about to get his soul sucked.
But like, it's just my take on the new Spider-Man film is no matter what happens with it, people are going to hate it. It's just, like, the internet set this high standard for the new Spider-Man film that it's never going to meet. Like, whether Toby or Andrew appear in it, which, to be honest, they pretty much are. But if they don't, it'd be like, sorry, what? We thought they'd appear, but they didn't. What are you doing? And whatnot.
I will say those are the memes I've seen about that, where it's like Norman Osborn, and it's like, when Toby and Andrew don't show up in Spider-Man, even though it had been rumoured, you can't do this to me. Do you know how much I sacrificed?
Back to formula.
Don't get me wrong, I'm going to be glad to see William Dafoe coming back out of all of them.
Yeah.
It's just I want to see him get utterly camped up.
Well, I don't even know. He's kind of old now, right? So I don't know.
He hasn't aged in 20 years.
He's been old. He's been old for about 40 years now.
Like, I mean, in the original film, he body acted the shit out of that first film. But like, I don't think, because even his most insane role after that would have had to been The Lighthouse, and he didn't like body act too much. He was crazy in it, and I loved the fact that he was crazy in it. But like, he wasn't as like mobile.
See, like,
as I'll say.
My biggest fear with the Spider-Man film is it's going to be an animated film like every other Marvel movie. Like, you know, we're not going to get any practical Doc Ock arms. If Andrew and Toby are in it, their suits are just going to be coloured in CGI. There's not going to be the actual suits and just things like that. I'm like,
I'm of that unpopular opinion. Let's say that I'm fine with it, because my issue isn't, you know, over CG and stuff. It's if like I remember when Far From Home came out and that shot of Nick Fury sitting in the chair came out. It's like he's holding a green thing behind a green screen. And it had all been CGI, and everyone's going, oh, why would you do that? And I'm like, if you couldn't tell until that behind-the-scenes picture came out, then it's good CGI. And it doesn't matter.
The best CGI is the one that blends in.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. But it's just like, you know...
There was something nice about practicalness.
Suits. I hate the Iron Spider suits so much. And just most of Tom Holland's look I hate, because I can just tell it's not an actual suit.
I don't mind it as much. I think sometimes it looks rough. There's some scenes in Homecoming and Civil War where it looks worse. But
like, I remember when the Civil War trailer came out and they revealed Spider-Man, my first reaction was, ooh.
I was just shocked that Spider-Man was in the MCU.
Yeah, same. At that point, I was like, oh my god. They actually struck a deal with Sony. That's impressive.
I feel like every year, though, they have to give Tom Holland a heart attack. Like, remember last year when they just said, nope, he's not in it anymore?
Yeah, now this year you've got the Ditko estate suing them.
Oh, yeah, that was another thing. Like, I think Marvel will win. They have the money to back
Well, this happens more or less every time. It happened with Stanley's daughter. It happened with Jack Kirby's kids. It's basically just the creator dies and the family's like, oh, we could probably get a bit more money off this. Because, I mean, even from a legal standpoint, while they did make those characters, they made them while working for Marvel. So it's kind of, you know, ultimately, it's like saying if you painted someone's house while working for a company.
It's my house.
Yeah. If someone came out to paint your house, but you booked them through a company, then it's like them saying, oh, that's my paint. Like, technically, yes, but it's the company's business.
Yeah. I mean, the company pays the artist, like, it's basically commission work in that sense, right? Like, except it's a full-time job and it's paid out, like,
I'd say back then, like, you know, contracts weren't the size of, like, novels.
Right, the contract was basically just, we'll give you 35 cents.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty shit. Like,
I would love to see a Marvel contract, just to see how big it is.
Oh, it's probably about the size of Dune, the book.
It's only chapter 1.
So anything you say on social media, yeah, you're going to have to go through us. Anything you have political wise, if you say it, you're basically out.
Like one thing I think, like as you were saying, like about Marvel not giving a fuck, like Venom. Like I don't know if you know about all the spoilers for Venom. It's just everything
With
that
Carnage and stuff.
everything with the movie's already out, and only now Tom Hardy's putting up posters that says no spoilers. Like because there were secrets, like fan screenings, and people are like coming out with lots of things. Not to mention that like there was a photo uploaded of Tom Hardy wearing a Far From a No Way Home hat, a crew hat that was instantly deleted.
Okay.
It's great because on the internet there's nothing, everything's on there forever. Doesn't matter if you delete it 30 seconds after you upload it, someone's screenshot it by then.
Because
Yeah.
Matthew doesn't know about the end credits for Venom, I'm presuming.
The original Venom?
The new
No,
one.
no, the new one.
Oh, no.
Okay, we won't spoil it,
Yeah,
but
we-
I've also heard rumors that that's also fake now. It's like now oh, now I have to see it, whether it's real or
I
not.
will say that I have seen. There's a subreddit that I follow which is specifically for spoilers and amongst other things,
Yeah.
which has more or less confirmed them to be true.
Okay.
I think
Can I give a guess, by the way?
go for it. I won't say
Be
whether
as
or not
vague,
it's
okay.
true
be as
anymore.
vague as possible.
No, I'm going to be as... Okay. The first Venom movie ends with a Spider-Man enter the multiverse or whatever, the Spider-Verse.
Did it?
Yes, it ends with the scene that shows the what you call it, Miles at the graveyard, and then he whips like
Was that just a trailer for?
Wait, what was that for?
that was for the original Venom.
I'm pretty sure that was just a sneak peek, not a.
I think you might have just dreamt that.
No, that was shown in the theater I was at the end of Venom. The end credit scene.
I feel like that's not true because if that happened, I would have seen at least one post about it in the last 5 years.
Well, I mean, what am I dreaming?
I think you
dreaming.
genuinely might have dreamt it. Wait, let me look up Venom end credits.
Like, because there was the train chase sequence, and I watched it. I was like, "Whoa, that's awesome! I can't wait for the movie."
You are talking about Venom, the first movie, right?
The first Venom, yeah.
We are Venom.
What
And then
what
they-
train sequence?
From Enter the Spider-Verse.
Right, okay.
Where Peter
Yeah.
Parker fucking dies again.
Well, no, oh yeah, he gets knocked out, doesn't he? And they just show a quick sequence of that. So I presume the second Venom's just going to show maybe,
More into the Spider-Verse.
well, like Into the Spider-Verse 2, maybe they might show off the first thing. I don't know if that's true. That's my guess.
I'm more confused because I think you're living in an alternate timeline.
I've got to look this up, right? I'm also going
Because
to look up this.
the Spider-Verse end credits was Spider-Man 2099, going back to that 60s meme,
Miguel, yes.
and then
Oh no,
the Venom end
But-
credits was the Carnage tease.
what?
It was him meeting Woody Harrelson in a really
Cletus.
bad
Oh, I
wig.
remember because he had the curly hair.
Yeah, I do remember that, but there was also wait.
It could have just been a teaser. It could have been the tease at the start of the movie, like during the trailers.
Post-credit scene. Venom's post-credit scenes confirmed that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse will be adhering closely to the Ultimate Comics as it shows Miles kneeling over by Peter's grave, making it clear to Peter in his it's right.
I didn't see Venom in theaters. So I couldn't
What?
tell you.
Oh, okay. You didn't see it in theaters?
I'm
Wait,
just
was
here to
this
stir the
only in
pot.
theaters? I remember seeing it. It's a really cool one, and
Josh, we need fact checks.
Wait,
I'm baffled.
so you're saying that the end credits of Venom ended with Miles Morales tease?
yes, him kneeling over the Spider-Man grave, and then it shows that sequence, and that's, I believe that is after.
See,
Was that
the only
See,
thing
I
the only thing I get for Miles Morales Venom end credits is the Spider-Man video game end credits.
Spider-Man video game?
But to answer your answer, no, that is not the post credit for Let There Be Carnage.
Let There Be Carnage.
No, I
That's
think
not the post-credit scene. Oh, right.
no,
yeah,
I think
yeah,
you've just made your own post-credit scene.
Okay. Well, that was my guess.
Wait, let me see. The first
I mean,
one-
Yeah, the original Venom.
Oh no, that at the end of the original Venom, there's a second scene that's an extended teaser for Spider-Verse.
Okay, yeah, that's what I watched. So I presume the.
It was like
Okay.
the end of Captain America had that trailer for Avengers.
Oh yeah.
It was basically just that, but two unrelated movies.
Okay.
This was some fucking rabbit hole.
I know. I never knew about this at all.
Yeah, I think I don't know if it was only shown for a few theaters, but I actually, as far as I know, I never actually watched the teaser for Carnage, and like I watched it after I watched Venom, but I seen that, so I was like, I was confused why everyone was. talking about
What
Carnage. I was
happened
like,
at your theater?
I don't know. It was a really weird because when people were talking about like Carnage afterwards, I was like, "The fuck, Woody Harrelson in a wig? That sounds stupid."
Woody Harrelson in a wig? Tom Hardy Venom? Wake up! It's 2003.
Like, part of me's
It's
looking forward
2006,
to-
and Venom's some weird guy from that '70s show.
Yeah.
let's be honest though, like Topher Grace's Eddie Brock was just above everyone else,
It was
praying
okay.
for Peter Parker
I'm
to
gonna,
die.
I'm gonna say this. It's gonna be controversial. Topher Grace as Venom worked for its time.
Yeah.
And, like, okay, Venom doesn't need to be in Spider-Man 3, but the fact that he is, and that Sam
Yeah.
Raimi worked it into it so well, stands. Spider-Man 3
Yeah.
is no worse than Spider-Man 1. I know.
No.
I mean,
Well-
Sandman.
Yeah, the Sandman scene's awesome. I would still love it if
James
Sandman was
Franco
just
fucking
the-
dies.
Many times.
Yeah.
He gets clobbered on the head, he gets blown up, he gets stabbed.
Did
Yeah.
you ever see the animatic of the final fight between Vulture and Spider-Man for Spider-Man 4?
I've seen the concept art.
No.
So pretty much like, the whole fight is on a glass building and Vulture keeps pushing Peter into the glass and his back is just covered in glass. It was vicious.
Have you ever seen
I'll
the
find
Have you ever seen the animatronic Venom from Spider-Man 3?
I did, and it was
No.
really cool.
Which one? It was it.
It was like
what's-
7 foot tall.
Oh, is that for the final scene? Where
No,
like,
it was just the
leaves Eddie
original
Brock?
costume that they were going to use for Venom. It wasn't going to be like so in the movie it ends up being kind of like a dark version of Spider-Man, but in the
Yeah.
original cut it was just going to be literally a 7-foot animatronic that was accurate to the comics and stuff.
Whoa, that's kind of cool.
Yeah, they
Did it look workable? Was it workable?
I think so. There's
Yeah.
there's some video clips of it out there.
Oh.
Like,
The original like black Spider-Man suit was just a gimp suit though.
yeah, the original Black Spider-Man suit was comic accurate. It didn't have the webs and stuff.
It was
Wow.
latex though.
Which
It just looked like a gimp suit.
I'm kind of glad that they have the webs to it because
it set it out from every other symbiote Spider-Man suit from before then.
yeah.
That-
And also that scene where like he looks through the reflection and then the music starts playing.
Oh
in that
yeah,
movie.
they're like da 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 da.
Yeah, that is one of the coolest moments ever in like a
Oh
comic
yeah,
book film.
oh yeah. The only
Yeah.
reason I hate that scene is because it kickstarted a trend on Instagram comic book fan art where to do a black suit Spider-Man, you would just desaturate a normal Spider-Man suit and you'd say done, and it
Yeah.
it annoyed me to no end.
So you're like, I have to do this. I have to do something different.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, when Venom came out and they were like, oh, it's some weird black cum monster. Like it was
I mean,
it was a
what-
breath of fresh air because it meant that people started to do stuff with that instead of just making a Spider-Man suit black.
I did come on. I mean that's basically what Venom is. I mean, show me evidence to
The cum
refute
monster
that.
from outer space.
Yeah, show me
But
evidence
on his
to
planet, he's a
refute
loser like you, Eddie.
You know, I am sad that I know this as a certain. Venom does not say turd in the wind in this one.
Turd in the wind.
That said,
I
there are some great scenes and great lines in this one, what I've seen.
Oh,
Like-
really? Yeah.
I remember I seen in one of the TV spots where Eddie's like, eat them 2 chickens. He's like, no, they're best friends.
Wholesome Venom posting. Have you guys ever encountered Raimi posting?
No.
Raimi posting?
Right, so
Is
you,
that a Facebook group or?
I cannot.
Sounds like-
I am not going to be able to ever show this or even talk about what it is. I'll send it to you guys after we finish wrapping up because it's
Oh, cool.
very offensive humor.
Okay.
It's okay, I can just cut it out. I probably will anyway.
But it's certainly something. I'll send you a few I've got saved afterwards.
I'm petrified now.
It's great. I was on Discord with a few mates and I was just going through these because I was in a state of delirium due to it being 5 a.m. and me not getting enough sleep.
Phone storage almost full. I'll fucking show them.
My phone storage is always at like 100 gigabytes no matter what.
See, I have like 258 gigs, and when I get close to halfway, I already start purging.
I don't know what I have. I don't pay attention.
I only pay attention if it starts to affect my like camera roll. Like if I can't open Instagram because it's got too much space taken up.
Oh, yeah. I guess that's where I would be like, okay, time to delete some videos or YouTube, like pictures.
Yeah, I think just meme culture has made us all horrible hoarders.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I've got 11,000 memes I think in a folder on my phone. When I
As both me and Matthew grab our phones.
Yeah, like, well, I gotta look at how many memes I have on mine. It is a couple.
yeah,
What's my most recent meme?
You want to know what my most recent meme is?
Oh God.
Drake, the type of dude who eats gummy bears 2 at a time so they don't die alone.
Mine is a safe sex ad on Facebook saying 82% the condom is safe, 91% the pill is safe, and it has a picture of sandals saying also very effective.
those are your most recent photos.
No, my most. Why do I have a screenshot of Banjo Kazooie?
See, my most recent photo it's a screen cap from American Psycho where he says, "I guess I was probably throwing car batteries into the ocean."
One thing I want to bring up quickly before we wrap is Machine Gun Kelly. I don't like him.
What's happened with him?
Oh, he dissed Slipknot. That
Oh
was
yeah,
really funny.
he said that
Because-
he said Slipknot were just a bunch of old dudes in weird masks.
Because apparently it was leaked that, like, Corey, the lead singer of Slipknot, was supposed to do a verse on one of his albums, and Machine Gun Kelly wanted him to rewrite the verse, and Corey's like, I don't work like that, I'm not the guy for the song, good luck. And all of a sudden now Machine Gun Kelly's doing like me. And recently there was a heavy metal concert event and he was just being booed, and he's like, that won't affect me, and he pulls out a fucking lightsaber on stage like, oh, go on, keep hating. And then apparently he was getting into fights after the show.
It's like being bullied at school and then telling the bullies that you have a tickle fetish.
I don't
I
know.
mean, what a weird to go against I think one of probably from the outset would be one of the most violent fan bases.
And also just like I mean, Mother hates Slipknot as just kind of you can dismiss it as just noise, but
Yeah.
ultimately they are kind of one of the most iconic bands. Like you say Slipknot and people know who you're talking about.
Here's my argument about the whole thing. In 20 years, they'll still be selling Slipknot t-shirts. What about Machine Gun Kelly?
Megan Fox's husband.
They'll still be looking like coked out celebrities at award shows.
But yeah, on that note, we can now wrap. I still have everything recording, I hope. But Josh, if you want to shout out anything, R.I.P. Bright.
Yeah, but right. You can check me out on Clements Inc. if you like to, but I'm on a little bit of a break. That's probably going to come to an end when I remember to post stuff again. But yeah, no. Thank you for having me. It's been lovely.
Well,
It's been great having you.
I also just want you to know that Matthew's been playing with knives the last 20 minutes.
Keane's not making it through the night.
Okay, and now I end the recording.
Before